Welcome to Thorpe Park. Sort of welcome to Thorpe Park. I'm not at Thorpe Park at the moment. We did a Saw behind the scenes tour. Now, there's a few things I want to get out first about kind of the setup for it and everything else before we go into it. Now, the reason for this is you can't take videos at the behind the scenes tours. Now, they've got some really strange rules. I will not understand it, but they got some strange rules. You can take as many pictures as you like, so you will get some absolutely cracking pictures from Saw. If you are going for a coaster climb, you are able to take pictures and you're able to take videos when you're stationary. If you are on a behind the scenes tour, you can take as many pictures as you like, but you can't take video. The reason for this is that it doesn't spoil the experience for others. I find it very peculiar, to be honest with you, because I think if you didn't want to spoil it, you didn't want to watch it, but that's entirely down to the park, and obviously we went within their rules. Now, one thing you won't see at the beginning is you do have a lovely welcome area. You go down to the marquee and they give you a little bit of history on Saw, kind of from the planning to what they were thinking about it, how the theme come about, when everything was sort of happening before you head down to the ride. We didn't take any pictures in there. I'm not sure if you could, to be honest. I didn't really ask. But most of that's available online anyway before heading down to Saw. So what you'll see now is Saw. You start outside, you then move inside the ride into bits you would never get to see normally without doing the behind the scenes tour. And obviously we will have voiceover across the way. Really hope you enjoy it. It was fantastic. Once you've made your way down to Saw, you start on the outside, and this is round the back of the maintenance shed, around about where the lift hill is. And as you'll see here, this is where there are track transfer pieces, because the shed can only fit 2 to 3 cars in, depending on what work they're doing. And we've seen these before as well at Adventure Island. This is what the cars would sit on, and they can move them around the yard if they need to take them off track. But something we did actually find out later on, which you will see, which we didn't know, means that these aren't used that much. From here, you then go down to the turnaround point, if you will, where the photo session is and the back end of the track. And there are some amazing views down here. Whilst we were there, they were moving a car as well off the track and getting it back into the station area. And it was just fantastic to see. Not only that, obviously you do get some great views of Hyperia as well from here, especially if it's still running. But these are views of Saw you don't normally get to see. So what you're seeing here is a lot of close-up of the track that you wouldn't normally get to see, different angles of the lift hill, and of course some of the brake run area and just round the back of Saw. There's a lot to take in, and we were lucky it was such a lovely day. There was nice blue skies, a little bit of cloud, but it was really good to do. From here, you do move to the bottom end of the drop, and funnily enough, there's not a lot to see. The tour doesn't include the maintenance shed, so you can sort of see the maintenance shed, and you can see the turnaround point and how the transfer track would go into there, and of course get a look at the bottom of the lift hill. We then move up into the station. Now, I know you see the station, obviously, when you get on the ride, but it's very different seeing it with lights on. Really different seeing it with lights on. And one thing I noticed here is that all 8 cars can fit in the station. Although we can't show you the control room, they don't allow anything in the control room, you learn that there are 16 block brakes for this ride. I didn't realize there were quite that many, and that's what allows it to run 8 trains. And it will run 8 trains, and the day we visited it was running all 8 trains at full capacity. But I didn't realise there was 2 block brakes around the Billy area, so there is actually a block brake just outside the station where they actually store one of the trains heading round to the first drop, as well as the Billy scene where I'm sure many people that are enthusiasts know that's where you stop to see Billy, and that is of course a block brake. So fascinating to see that, and you get some really good views of the trains with the lights on from above as well. You will see more shortly from below, and of course you do get to see the control panel. Even though we can't show you anything of it, it is still fantastic to see some of that. So yes, 16 block brakes on this ride and some amazing close-ups of the train. Now from here you drop a level and you go under the track, and this is where my ultimate geek comes out. Getting to walk under the trains, getting to look kind of, into the trains, into the workings. And again, this is a 2009 ride, so this isn't new. This is in amazing, immaculate condition. It really, really is in great condition. And if you've never seen a Eurofighter before up close, it's, again, fascinating to see how these are put together, because they're quite small trains in fairness compared to the longer coaster cars, but there's so much to them. You get to see the brakes, you get to see the wheels, you get to see all the couplings, you get to see where oil goes, you get to see absolutely everything from in this bay and underneath the trains. Just brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. And here are some of the close-up shots which we got to see. And again, you can spend roughly sort of 15-20 minutes in each section. The tour actually isn't rushed at all. It's done at a really good pace where you can kind of take everything in and get all the pictures you want to get. We got some pictures obviously of ourselves as well. We got some pictures of each other. We've taken some great shots of the train and of course the whole Soar area. Now from here you do move down. These are the terrifying staircases that you move down, and they are terrifying, to the next level, which is actually part of the scene of the ride, and that's the base of the first drop. Now this is a really small room in fairness. You can only go in here a couple at a time, but it does kind of give you an insight. And all of this, it's strange when you look around and you see even like tools and props and things you never see because of show lighting. Show lighting, they talk about it at big parks, but it's at all parks. And, you know, they pull it off on Soar just as well as they do with any other ride. Show lighting kind of makes you see what you need to see, not necessarily what you don't need to see. And all the storage areas for the rides and some of the tools and things are all sort of kept behind this drop, which was great to see. And then from here, you move downwards to the turn heading into obviously the inline over the water body, heading outside. And this is a lovely open space where you can go in and you can take again some amazing pictures and get really close to the track. You know, we've taken some pictures of our heads through the track, we've touched the track, we've gone around the track, we've gone under the track. And it's funny because we see a lot of coaster track and we see a lot of it close up, but this Gerstlauer track is actually massive. It's really, really wide. It doesn't feel that big for some reason. I think it's probably because of the trains are being quite small. It doesn't feel that big until you're standing next to it, and it is absolutely massive. And you can even see obviously the tight angles in which it takes round as it heads down to the body. Now that has been refreshed, I would say, for this year, because it actually got Cody wet when we were on the ride. And you can see the trigger point for it as well, which is just a sensor on the wall. People got to trigger it if they wanted to, and it just sprays up and obviously gets the middle two people wet on the train. But again, you're walking next to this and underneath the barrel roll, allowing you to get some fantastic, and I mean fantastic, geek shots. By all means, I think the behind the scenes tours are a little bit geeky. There's no doubt about it. They're not for everyone, I understand that. But for me, I was living my dream in here. Absolutely living my dream. And you can walk right the way up to the end, so you get to see sort of Samurai and Hyperia out in the background, and even some of the other little details as well. And again, you're not super rushed as you go through here. You've got plenty of time to take pictures of yourselves. You've got plenty of time to take pictures of what you want to take pictures of in Soar. You can ask questions as you go round. There's just so much entailed in the tour. Actually, we were really surprised just how long it went on for. Yeah, it was amazing just how much there was to look at there, and kind of the areas in which you go in as well. I didn't necessarily know you went underneath the cars. I knew you went down to the final turn and things, so there were a couple of really good surprises in there. It was a great guided tour. There was about 9 of us on there with a guide as well to take around and answer questions. Highly recommended. Great value. But have you done one of these tours? We did one many years ago when you actually couldn't take photos or videos. We did the stealth one. We've been in the stealth hydraulic room, we've been in the swarm workshop, we've been in the stealth booth and everything like that, which sadly they don't do now, because anyone that's been in the stealth hydraulic room will know that is mad in there. When stealth has a little bit of a breakdown like it has recently, I don't think unless you've seen inside that hydraulic room you can really sort of question how long it could potentially take to get the ride back up and running. There's nothing as well like standing underneath stealth and looking up at the track. It's a great view. But Soar is on the menu, you can do it, and it's 100% worth doing.